Imagine.
Let's go back to that point where it was like taking off. You know, you've put on some candles on Etsy.
Yeah.
Oh, they're selling. Sick. Like, the wheels are starting to turn. I mean, I first saw them just on Instagram. I don't know even how I came across. I didn't even know it was you.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to Sunit, and he's like, "Oh, you know, Morgan,
oh, no,
got these candles." I was like, "Oh, that's him." Yeah. I've seen them on.
Probably Sunit shared it a few times, and Alex has shared it. And you've probably seen it pop up.
And now your Instagram's got like 8K followers. You know.
Yeah,
you see them a lot of places. So, what point was the point where it's like, "Oh, we're getting some traction now"?
It was busy over Christmas, wasn't it? It was busy over Christmas
on
Etsy and the website, but it became really popular, didn't it? And just through influencers on Instagram, we teamed up with quite a few influencers, and some of them. I mean, that game is wild. The influencer game on Instagram, it is wild. But some of them it did really, really well for us, and it just blew up, didn't it? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Overnight for a couple of months.
You can kind of tell, like, as soon as, like, when we got like a few sales through and thought, what's happened? And then we'd go on Instagram and we'd see that an influencer had shared us. So it's kind of like the marketing of it that really.
Did you reach out to an influencer, or was this just like...
we started reaching out to some, didn't we?
Yeah, and then as soon as we reached out to some, they started reaching out to us. Like, we got a lot of messages.
that happened.
People wanting, like, gifted candles. Like, who doesn't want gifted candles? Like, just for like putting a photo on Instagram and sharing it.
Yeah, so it was quick. It was just, I mean, it wasn't really much of a cost. It was cost of the candle, sending it off, maybe a £5, sometimes you send a bigger box off, £10, but and you know you get a few orders from it, so it works well. Yeah,
and I think it was one time we got like quite a big influencer, and the whole night our phone was pinging, wasn't it? Like sale. It was.
It opens your eyes really to like what money's out there. You just think, wow, like there's so much money out there, isn't there? You just think it's just crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so. At Christmas, it starts to blow up. You're then thinking about, okay, maybe I should be doing this full time so I can at least manage what's coming through.
Yeah, well, kind of that, but then also thinking, was it wild because it was Christmas? But January and February really was quite wild as well.
Really?
So that's why I think you held off. You didn't quit till your job till January maybe, because we thought we'll get over Christmas, see what happens in January. January was wild. So it got to the point where I think I said to you, it's not the job you're doing now was just a make do job. It's a job that if the candles doesn't go well, you can get another one maybe within a month. So it's not something to worry about. We're not. If needs be, I've got my job that's secure. So if we are ever struggling, it might be difficult for a month or two, but
it took over the whole living room. Do you remember when we literally had boxes of candles all in the living room? I don't think we had a sofa. No, we had a sofa in there.
Yeah, it was.
And it was just candle wax boxes, orders, wrapping stations. We didn't have like a living space.
We had my mum coming around, my sister coming around to help, your sister coming around, my dad was coming around. Sunday we sent a load of boxes to my brother, my dad, mum, sister was all making boxes up at home. It was really, 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 really busy.
And then like we'd do that on the weekend, and then we'd go back to work Monday to Friday, and then we'd never had a weekend. So then I think one Sunday we were like, I need to quit my job, and I just handed in my notice the next day.
Was there nervousness? I mean, at that point when you're like, okay, actually handing in your notice, were you still nervous, or you're like, it's the right thing to do, everything is telling me, all the signs are pointing towards this?
I mean, I feel like we had like a chat over like maybe 3 days whether I should hand it in or not, and we kind of we like weighed it, didn't we? We wrote out the pros and the cons, we wrote them all down, talked to like a few people about it, and then I thought, right, I'm going to do it tomorrow. And then I told my manager, and he was a bit like, you sure you don't just want to go part-time? And then I was like, I don't know, I'll let you know. So then I had to like go and think about maybe going part-time instead of just quitting it altogether. And we just thought, if I'm going to put 100% into Sviesa and want to grow it as much as possible, I may as well just completely quit and just...
Yeah, I think the way I looked at it was, what's the risk really? You're quitting a job that you don't even love. It's not really much of a risk, it's just the financial side of it, but... it's not. If needs be, I can support. So the risk wasn't massive, really. When you actually break it down, it sounds like a big thing. Maybe to like when you tell your parents, because they just think, "Well, what are you doing? What's that?" And they maybe don't understand it, but really, you just got to break down and think.
Yeah, it's just not having that like security, I think.
Yeah.
Just not having that security of like a regular income. But I think we just, I don't know, somehow we made it work.
Well, you did. And then, so you had that big burst, you said January's mad, February's mad.
Yeah.
And then I think lockdown finished around that time as well. So,
yeah.
So Marco must have started going back to work. Was sales starting to taper off at that point? Like, what were you starting to feel then?
Yeah, so sales did slowly start to taper off. And we were kind of thinking, right, what can we do? Like, we need more influencers. We tried like pretty much everything that we could have done, but sales were still kind of dropping. And we kind of figured out that when I like posted on Instagram, we'd get like sales, and like you just kind of like figure out how to get sales and why sales aren't coming in, I guess.
Yeah.
But eventually they did start to tail off quite a bit. And then we got a few wholesale orders. So that was kind of where we thought maybe the business is going.
Mm-hmm.
So we just like kind of switched up the business model where we kind of just emailed out to smaller businesses, maybe like around the country, asking for wholesale orders basically. And that worked for a while, didn't it? It still kind of is working, but it's a lot less time consuming, which is kind of good because it means that I can kind of maybe get like a part-time job on the side or something and do, like, say if I get a big wholesale order, like 2 a month or something, I can just do it on the weekends.
What's good people? If you enjoyed that, then listen to the full episode over in your favourite podcast streaming service. Or for more clips, just continue to explore the channel. Keep it easy.